The precise moment when dissatisfaction with the healing craft reached its breaking point fades into a blur. But a pivotal spark flickered to life with a drug called vancomycin. Deep in the third year of a grueling apprenticeship, a fragile soul lay in the critical care ward, tethered to existence by this potent elixir, a lifeline delivered through veins to battle a raging bloodstream infection. Vancomycin's dance is a delicate one. Too scant a measure leaves the enemy unchecked, while an overly generous pour risks shattering the liver and silencing the ears. Its rhythm hinges on a patient's frame and the drug's fleeting stay in the body. One restless night, a mind fond of numbers wove a tapestry of equations, pinpointing the exact hour, 3:45 a.m., when the next thread of this lifeline must be spun. When the clock struck that pre-dawn chime, tests confirmed the weave. Held true, the drug's presence had ebbed to a whisper, demanding renewal. A request was made to the night's keeper to administer the dose, only to clash with a guardian one rung higher in the ward's silent hierarchy. "Hold off," came the directive. "Let it wait until the morning watch at 6. This counsel stirred unease. Why leave a fortress unguarded for hours against a foe that could storm the gates? With the overseer gone, the dose was given regardless. At dawn's gathering, the tale was laid bare before the ward's sage, with an expectation that such vigilance would earn a nod of respect. Instead, a tempest of rebuke descended, fierce, enough to pierce through the fog of a sleepless night. Exhaustion couldn't dull the sting of raised voices and warnings of exile, all for daring to refine the craft's rhythm for one so frail. Yes, a suggestion, not a decree, had been sidestepped, a breach of order, but the ferocity of the storm left a lingering question. Shouldn't the pursuit of better ways be the heart of this calling? A humbled apology followed, smoothing ruffled feathers, yet this clash was but one ripple in a swelling tide. As the years of training unfurled, a growing chorus of doubts sang louder. Time and again, efforts to nudge the craft onward met a wall of stillness, a reverence for the old ways that seemed to bind rather than build. Tradition has its merits, a steady anchor in turbulent waters, but often it felt as if the vast ship of healing was lashed so tightly to its moorings that even a gentle shift risked snapping the ropes, leaving those it served adrift. By the 6th year, worn thin by this unyielding tide, a decision crystallized. The journey would end come midsummer. Peers and sages balked. Few abandoned such a voyage, especially not at a helm as storied as this. Yet the compass pointed elsewhere. A decade's labor was cast overboard, or so it seemed, for a new course with a strategy guild known as Bain and Company. The horizon shifted to the sunlit shores of Seattle, a realm far from the sterile halls of the past, offering a breath of liberation. Regret lingered, a whisper of squandered years, but this detour would soon reforge the lens through which healing, and every soul it touches, is seen. The pivot point, uncertainty's edge. The guild first beckoned to its health advisory. Crew, but a knack for patterns, forged in studies of physics and systems design, steered the path toward the shadowed realm of fiscal peril. This was 2008, a time when storm clouds gathered over the world's coffers, unnoticed by most, save a few sharp-eyed seers later famed in tales of collapse. The charge was to aid vast treasure houses in aligning with new edicts, mandating a bulwark against unforeseen breaches. These houses had charted their expected leaks well, but the wild waves of the unexpected remained a riddle. The task demanded sifting through troves of records to craft frameworks that might glimpse these rogue tides, linking the fates of coin, and craft in a tangle as elusive as chasing echoes in a fog. What began as a ritual to appease overseers unveiled a tempest brewing in the calmest of waters, the sturdy vaults of home loans. By mid-2009, the charts sang a dire tune. These keepers of wealth stood to lose more in 2 winters than they'd reaped in a dozen summers past. After months of ceaseless charting, a summit loomed with the guild's titans. Tradition would have a seasoned voice bear the tidings, but the mantle fell instead to the newcomer, deemed seasoned in delivering bitter truths from prior days. In mind insuadort, a glass-walled eyrie, the numbers unfolded, a grim prophecy of ruin. Faces shifted through a silent reel of shock, fury, negotiation, grief, and surrender, a mirror to the bedside vigils of old. Beyond the wards, such a dance of fates had rarely been seen. A new vantage on healing's core. The sojourn in strategy's realm drew to a close, yet it lit a beacon on a hidden flaw in the healing arts, the dance with uncertainty. In the world of coin, mastering this dance is lifeblood. Those who wield wealth don't leap blindly, but weigh each step with a keen eye on gain and loss. The craft of fiscal peril, though flawed, is a disciplined art. In healing, though, uncertainty often sways more by heart than by measure. The trouble traces back to an ancient oath, whispered through time. Above all, cause no wound. It's a guiding star, a vow to shield rather than shatter those in care. Sensible, yet it harbors cracks. It's a phrase never truly penned by its famed father. It cloaks itself in lofty airs, and it muddies the waters more than it clears them. Avoid all harm? History laughs at the notion. For ages, healers wielded cures more likely to curse, cracking skulls for aches, smearing poisons on sores, or draining life's flow from the weak. The deeper snag lies in its echo. The safest harbor is often the stillest, the choice to stand pat. Yet every seasoned hand knows tales that defy this creed. Picture a dusk in the trauma bay. A 19-year-old arrives, a blade's mark low on his chest. He stands steady at first, then falters, unease rising. A swift scan hints at shadows pooling near his heart's cradle. A dire race begins, for if that tide swells, his pulse could fade in moments. No time for the upper chambers. The lift alone might claim him. As awareness slips, a choice looms to carve through flesh then and there, freeing the heart's cage. It's a brutal plunge, blood and strain, but the tide turns, breath steadies. The risk was steep, the wound sharp, yet inaction promised a swifter end. Later, in calmer light, a pinpoint tear in a vital stream is mended with a single stitch. He walks free days later. Uncertainty isn't a specter to flee. It's a current to chart and ride. Every act, be it in healing or daily breath, rides. This swell. Savor a market's greens? A whisper of taint might lurk. Journey there by wheel? Peril hums. Yet the scales tip toward nourishment. Sometimes, as with that youth, the leap is stark. Other times, it's a quieter wager. Probe the depths with a scope, risking a nick, or let a silent scourge grow unchecked. A healer who shuns all risk likely lifts no burden, and often, stillness is the boldest gamble. Reimagining the healer's craft. Imagine an elder sage of old peering into today's halls of care, marveling at gleaming tools, elixirs of sleep, and beams banishing shadow. The debt to those pioneers is vast, a lexicon of roots threading back to ancient tongues. Yet the tale of a steady climb from their dawn to ours is a woven myth. Two great eras have shaped this craft, and a third may now crest. The first, born in antiquity and stretching long past, might be dubbed the era of sight. It leaned on the scene and the guest. Some arrows hit true, others veered wide. Walking was praised as vigor's friend, and sustenance held both balm and bane, truths that endure. But whims like the body's four tides drifted far from reason. The leap then was to unshackle illness from divine wrath, a bold stride toward clarity. Harsh judgment falters. They wielded what light they had, sans the forge of method. The second era dawned in the 1800s, when the breath of sickness gave way to the dance of unseen foes. Clean hands and potent drafts rose from this shift, yet it was no swift tide. Visionaries clashed with stone walls, their truths forged in strife. Recall a healer in Vienna, vexed by mothers lost to fever's grip post-birth. He linked their fate to morning dissections, hands unwashed before afternoon welcomes. Shunned and broken, he faded in shadow. Yet that same year, another proved the sterile blade's might, birthing a new creed. Tools like the glass eye aided, but the pivot was deeper, a mind unshackled, testing guesses with rigor over centuries. This era reshaped the world. Scourges like the twisting spine and pox fell while plagues of blood and breath bent to mastery. A viral storm of 2020 saw antidotes bloom in months, a testament to this craft's peak. Yet against the slow fires, tumors, hearts crumble, it falters. Lives stretch longer, yes, but strip away the vanquished plagues, and the horizon dims little. The deep riders of ruin linger toward a new dawn time. Beyond the wards, steeped in numbers and peril's edge, unveiled a truth. The craft honed its blades for swift storms, not creeping shadows. In cancers, every tick was foe. Too often, aid arrived as dusk fell. Across the divide, wealth's keepers faced a mirror, small ripples swelling into torrents over years. So it is with the body's quiet foes, vessels hardened decades before the crack, yet the mending starts at the shatter. A fresh vision rises, the era of foresight, not to mend the broken, but to bar the break, not to excise the growth, but to starve its seed, not to brace the fall, but to steady the step. The craft must stretch to match these long, whispering tales. Change already stirs. Voices herald a tailored dawn, care carved to each soul's grain. No two fires burn alike, even in twin cloaks. What quells one may fade in another. Machines hum with promise. Data streams widen. Minds of steel sift the flood. Tiny sentinels may yet roam the red rivers. But the tools lag, a dream half spun. Like a cart urged to roll alone in days of yore, it lurches without the gears to steer. The vision holds. Patience and craft will bridge the gap. Yet this new era hinges less on steel than on spirit. 4 pillars rise. Foresight over cure. Build the haven before the storm, not mop the flood. Each a singular flame. See beyond the crowd's blur, tracing each spark's path. Embrace the scales. Weigh uncertainty's dance, knowing stillness can tip them too. Life's full bloom. Chase not just years, but their richness, vigor, clarity, joy. Take the tale of women past the fertile tide, once handed keys to ease the shift until a vast scroll cried peril. A shadow loomed, 2 more in 1,000 met a cruel bloom. Yet the absolute whisper was faint, the gain cast aside for fear. The new craft asks, for this soul, here, now, what tips the balance? Not a blanket ban, but a measured gaze. Health's span, once a murmur, now demands more than mere absence of woe. The old weave pays for the fall, not the stance, for the dose, not the dance. A richer thread must be spun, one that wards off the fade, not just the end. Steering through the mist picture, a grand vessel slicing the night, its hull kissed by frost. Warnings crackle, ice looms, but the call is lost in the chatter. Speed blinds, calm deceives, eyes strain without aid. Too late a tower looms, and the tale ends in chill. Had it borne far-seeing eyes, waves to pierce the veil, stars to guide, the course might have turned days prior, the peril a memory. In healing, the mist still clings. Trials span mere seasons, yet shadows brew over lifetimes. The new craft peers farther, decades, not years, arming the journey with keener sight. The charge is to spot the drift, chart the hazards, and steer clear, ever vigilant. This demands more than passage. It calls for a helm grasped firm, knowledge wielded, choices faced, habits reshaped. The craft thrives when all hands pull, not drift. The stakes are flesh and breath, the reward a voyage bold and bright.